In 2020, I bought this house and I paid just over £1.8 million for it. And it was my dream home. It is now 2025 and it's sold. Right, come inside. Fingerprint. So, welcome to the inside of my house. If you're new to my channel, or you might have forgot, I've done a full refurb on this in 2020, which took around a year. Shout out Asheville. Now with me leaving the UK, it was time to sell up. I've got my cars for sale, like my Revuelto and the 296 GTS, as well as putting my cars for rent to continue to make me a side income whilst I'm in Cyprus. But the house, after making it my home, it was time to go. And in this video, I'll give you a rundown on what was done and the breakdown on why it didn't make financial sense to keep it. So this was the kitchen area. I am very tidy, but everything's actually gone. However, the person that's bought this house has taken everything with it, bar my clothes and some pictures on the wall. So this kitchen here was north of £100,000. Did it get used? Yes, to a certain extent for family events, whether it would be Christmas or family coming over. We even had a teppanyaki. I think we went to Benihana's one too many times. There's a lot of things that didn't get used in this house, but there's one main reason why I've sold my dream home, which I'll get to a little bit later. This was problem number one, which is a good sized garage. However, the cars that I own are quite large. So a lot of the cars wouldn't fit. However, the Lamborghini Revuelto did fit at an angle, but my Range Rover didn't fit, my Urus didn't fit. And guys, remember, I didn't build the house from the ground up. The house was already here. We just knocked down all the internal walls. So the garage was here. So it wasn't my fault and it wasn't Daniel's fault either. So this was problem number two, the resistant spa pool. They gave me the pool for free. However, I didn't take into account that I need to fit it. I need to bring the pool over the house. I need to set up a full plant room to run and maintain this. I think this still ended up costing me as an approximate maybe £40,000-50,000, and it still never worked to the level I wanted it to work. I must have gone in this pool twice. In Cyprus, I would definitely have a pool. In Dubai, I would definitely have a pool. In the UK, unless it's inside and it's covered, no. And for the 2 weeks a year, if I'm gonna have a pool in the UK, I'd want the roof to come off so I can enjoy the sun rather than being enclosed in a pool area. No. And the third reason is, it didn't make financial sense for me to have this house. Now, why, you may ask? I had too much money tied up in this house. And what I mean by that is, I could rent somewhere, let's say I spend £60,000 a year. The old school generation would say,
that's dead money, you're paying off someone else's mortgage.
Yes and no. When you rent somewhere, you can just up and leave. You can give 6 months notice, depending on what your contract is, and you can just leave and go wherever you need to go. When you've got an expensive house, or any house nowadays, you need to sell it. Selling a house can take 6 months, 12 months, can take a couple of years to sell your house. And when you've got so much money tied up in the house, it just didn't benefit me to own such a big house with so much equity tied up in one property. So let me try and break this down for you. Let's say I'm going to rent a property and it's going to cost me £60,000 a year. And with my bills and expenses to live there, it's going to cost me £100,000 in total. And let's say I've got £1 million tied up in this house. Can I use this £1 million to make more than that £100,000? The answer is yes. Now, is this property going up more than £100,000 a year? Back in the day, I would say, yeah, it probably would. Nowadays, I don't believe it is. And I think in the UK, it's so difficult. People can't afford to do anything. The property market is absolutely ruined. You have things like stamp duty, which is insane. Yes, pay a bit of stamp duty, but the way they keep increasing it is madness. You have capital gains. So I own other properties. If I sold another property, because obviously I have my main property, I would have to pay 28%. So if I had £100,000 profit in this property, it would cost me £28,000 to sell it. Are you kidding me? Plus, when you die, it's tax, inheritance tax. You work for them. And I'm not doing one of these videos where I'm trying to bash the government, but in the UK right now, I think you work 3 days for them and 2 days for us. Maybe 4 days for them and 1 day for us. And no matter what level you're at, the UK, for me, I don't think they're making it easy for anyone to want to stay here. I think the stats say every 30 minutes, another millionaire leaves the UK. I haven't got an issue paying tax, but don't take the... I'm not saying Dubai is the fix because it's 0% tax there on personal and 9% on business, but they're killing us here. They're not giving us a chance. So as we're talking about tax, Rob Moore's a friend of mine, and he's actually very clever in the things that he says. So here's a great example talking about tax. Tax is the penalty you pay for being productive. Tax is the reward they receive for being wasteful. Tax is the interest you pay for the debt they created. Tax is the punishment you're given for the risk you've taken. Tax is working for them for the first 30 hours of your normal working week. Tax is the lifetime of debt to them you signed for without your signature. Maybe tax is the penalty you pay for the crime they commit. Can you not see the problem here? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this. So another option I could do rather than selling this house is renting it. Now I was offered £18,000 by a football player who wanted this house. £18,000 seems amazing. But when I'm paying tax on that, so I've got my mortgage and then I have to pay the tax on the full amount. And my tax bracket is 45% because this house is in my personal name, it's not a company. Can you imagine losing nearly half of your rent? So that £18,000 now drops to just over 9,000, let's call it 10,000, plus my mortgage, around 6,000. So I'm left with £4,000 a month. Granted, the £6,000 is taking money off the mortgage each month, but not much. And if this house was going up by £100,000 a year, £200,000 a year, I'd be like, it's worth it because it's tax-free, because it's my personal house. The fact that it doesn't, and the fact that in the UK nowadays, the property market is really, really bad. My only option was to sell and use the money to invest into other areas to make me more money. Even though I never sold the house for what I genuinely believed it was worth after all the money I spent on it, the extension, etc., you can't put a price on freedom. I've got freedom to move. I've got freedom to make money with the money I had in the house. I've got flexibility now. I'm not tied somewhere. If I want to rent, I can rent. If I want to buy again, I can buy again. If I want to invest, I can invest. If I want a new business, I can do that. Just to make it clear, this isn't a, oh, poor me, he sold his £1 million house and oh, look at him. It's, everyone can relate to this in whatever level you're at. I work better and I feel better when I'm in a nice, hot country. The UK just doesn't do it for me. Personally, I want to spend my time in 3 different countries, partly in the UK, Dubai, and Cyprus. That is how I see my life moving forward. The rap industry has been great. I've been in it 20 years, but I think I've hit a ceiling. I've done everything in the rap industry. I've opened doors, I've pushed boundaries. Who knows what I may do in Dubai or in Cyprus? I've always got opportunities due to the Yiannimize brand. We've sold Yiannimize competition, so that's now gone. I have Yiannimize media and Yiannimize modifications. Yiannimize live and Yiannimize events I have with Bav. So that's like the tours and the car shows we put on throughout the year. The rapping industry is done for me. I want to spend more time abroad and I want to handpick exactly what I want to do. Stress and pressure in the UK is a nightmare. So I'd rather handpick everything that I want to do now. And I'm fortunate enough that I've created and I've earned enough money over the years to be able to handpick what I want to do. And that is something that I would always say to you guys, if you can get in that position, it's a great position to be in. And that is where I'm at right now.